one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
This is Discover Crypto. Every day on this channel, we teach you how to make money with digital assets. And major show today, CHAINLINK being used by the U.S. government. We got to talk about that, of course. We got to talk about Bitcoin. Is ETH the banker's favorite? We're going to get into that. And CRO, the CRO token won't stop pumping. And we're going to look at the charts for that one as well. I'm here with TJ, everybody. Make sure you're smashing the likes. TJ, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. Seeing CHAINLINK move like that, seeing all of our predictions come true feels really good. I know the Disco fam, a lot of you guys are link holders, so everybody else is feeling good too. But yeah, U.S. government's going on chain is a pretty big deal. And so, yeah, what do you got?
Just the 10-minute candles here. Let's go to the 5-minute. Just
man.
Yeah, that is CHAINLINK right there. Taking off like a rocket, smashing through the resistance lines or the little areas of control that we identified in a previous video. And I would maybe look at this area as a potential cool down zone. I do think CHAINLINK's probably about to pick up again in the next 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, and it's also this bullish for other chains as well. There's actually a lot of big news coming out today that we're going to get to later in the show. Some stable coin news, which sounds boring, but it's with Bitcoin. So that's interesting.
We're going to look at the CHAINLINK PITH chart as well.
Yeah.
PITH priced in link.
PITH on it like a 50% pump right now, but
I pith on you. That's
yeah.
what CHAINLINK says. I pith on you. I should on you.
Yeah. The other thing that's good about this is it's bringing their data to Bitcoin, Ethereum. Solana is getting a lot of attention right now. I think it's time for a Solana run. We picked up a lot of our Solana content recently.
And I'm also got some on XRP. Big Sean telling his audience of thousands to buy. And the audience he says something about crypto. The audience chants a coin. Wait till you hear what they start chanting unprompted.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
It's Hex. No, it's not Hex. That would be wild, though. That would be so wild.
I don't know if this is true, and I'll have to look into this. I heard there was new charges against Richard Hart, so I'll have to look into that.
Man, poor Richard Hart. All right, well, let's look at the trend line identified yesterday. This is Bitcoin that we're looking at here. Bitcoin on the 5-minute candles bounced off this, hit against resistance, hit against resistance. Let's go back about 24 hours. We can see what we're looking at here. 24 one day. Yeah, so you can see it right around here. We were talking about, breaking through, came down and retested pretty well. And then now going back to the upside here. We check in on the RSI, just kind of guessing where we're going to be heading in the short term. Looks like the RSI is getting a little bit of strength as we're losing the price action here. So maybe we're going to see a sharp mini reversal. That's going to be my prediction. All right, let's look at some of these other coins. Now, Bitcoin, we're going to drop a video tonight talking about what the impact is of these weekly moving averages. This is the 20, this is the 50. And so keep that in mind. Turn on your notifications. It's going to be from Josh. I know a lot of y'all have been missing the Josh video, so that's going to be coming. Let's check in on CRO. CRO is still doing great. CRO broke through what we identified yesterday here. Another situation, we're going to go back about 24 hours. Go back 24 hours. This was a little area I was identifying right as we were coming up to it. You can see on the 10-minute candle, this is an important range. Now we have to go to the next level, and there really isn't much of a next level till you look at the previous peaks. And so I would say keep an eye out on right there at 50 cents. 50-cent CRO might be coming if we can flip this trend line into support. So still remains to be seen. Are people taking profits? I see people in the chat saying I'm selling my CRO for Bitcoin. So if everybody starts feeling that way, we're definitely going to lose a little momentum there. Solana's also forming a little bit of a top, a little bit of resistance, trying to break through and trying to flip this resistance into support. These are 4-hour candles, and this is going back to July. So keep an eye out on this. If Solana can turn this into support, Solana is going to go nuts. You're going to see a $250 Solana before you realize it, folks. And the last coin before we look at everything, CHAINLINK. Oh my God, I said it's going to turn around, TJ, and it's starting to turn around. I should have just full ported along right then and there.
Yeah. I know in the Discord, everybody, a lot of longs people took first thing this morning. Our Discord was like instant on the news within, I think, less than a minute. I saw it on our Discord before I saw it all over the timeline. So somebody got it in there almost immediately when it came out. And
Printing in
then
that Discord.
yeah, John Dalton, one of our top traders in there, he did some TA on it, and he's looking for Chainlink to get to $27 in short order. So for the day traders out there, a lot of people got into longs. A lot of them already in really healthy profit, moved those stop losses up, and now we're just riding and waiting for that $27 price point. I will drop the link for that group here in just a second.
Saying great call on the Pith sell. I said sell your Pith for Chainlink. Both of them are pumping. Pith is going to be a smaller market cap, so Pith is probably going to have a short-term, larger pump. But then I think capital will still continuously rotate into Chainlink. And when I show you that Pith link chart, you're going to be eating those words, buddy. I'm talking to you. I'm calling you out. Sell to top. You're trying to sell to bottom is what you're trying to do here. All right, let's look at all the coins here. We're going to hit refresh so we have that fresh data. Bitcoin is largely flat. ETH slight down, 1.87%. Snoop Dogg's favorite number. BNB also flat. Solana up about 3%. Tron down a little bit. Chainlink, though, up 7% in the last 1 hour. Now it's 5%. Let's look at the big gainers for today. Pith with the 50% pump. Crow with the 20% pump. Conflux, Radium, and Pump. And if you look at the last hour, Pith is just going nuts on that last hour. Woo! Major moves there. And speaking of major moves, we did buy that World Liberty Fi. If you remember, we bought some yesterday. Bought a little bit more. We upped the exposure to $1,000. We're doing a 1x position on LBank. And TJ, this spot trade is, hey, we're up $50, $57 on the dollar position. Now, there is a slight fee. You get hit with like $1.50 every so often there. But, you know, that's because I have a semi-larger position. So really, really good job if you jumped in and yellowed in on the World Liberty Fi. But let's do that Chainlink announcement. This is the announcement. We're probably going to do a deeper dive next stream here, but we're excited to announce Chainlink and the Department of Commerce have worked together to bring U.S. government macroeconomic data on chain. These new Chainlink data feeds securely deliver critical information. This is going to be sourced from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. It's things like real GDP, personal consumption expenditures, price index, and the real final sales to private domestic purchasers. This will unlock innovative use cases for blockchain markets, including automated trading strategies, tokenized assets, issuance of new types of assets, real-time prediction markets, transparent dashboards, and DeFi protocol risk management. And so really, really good news, Chainlink team. People are saying Pith also has a similar post here, but congrats if you hold either token, folks. I think we're all celebrating right now.
Yeah, no, it's governments coming on chain to catch up to what we've been doing for the last almost decade at this point. If you're not getting super bull, it's stuff like this. It's a macro move on a day like today that tells me this is going to continue for a very long period of time. This isn't a test anymore. It has been proven. It has found product market fit. Ethereum is here to stay. Bitcoin is here to stay. Chainlink is here to stay. And there's a lot more money to be made over this next decade. And if you're just now getting in, don't worry, you're not too late. I was having that conversation with somebody the other day thinking, oh, I've missed it. Bitcoin's too expensive. It's like, it's not too late for Bitcoin, not too late for Ethereum, not too late for anything in crypto. Is still a tiny little niche compared to finance around the world.
Gemini credit card, any credit card that gives your 1 to 4% rewards in Bitcoin rather than gift cards, cash back, to me is a good thing. So
yeah, I would look at both. If we've looked at some of this, you do get cash back on traditional bank cards and stuff. So if you're converting that to Bitcoin, that's fine. But Coinbase also has one where you get rewards in Bitcoin. But like DZ said, if you're getting rewards in Bitcoin, that's going to compound like crazy over time. The top for this.
We've done a lot of videos on it. We got that $100 target, but a potential target of 200 if all goes well. You're kind of coming in the middle 150. This recent announcement pushes me towards 200 is increasing in probability.
Yeah, and there's even some crazy moon math. Like Drew's got a $300 number if you get the most bullish scenario. So yeah, a lot of upside left for Chainlink.
Now, Pith does have an announcement, but it doesn't look like they're securing as much data. I don't think this is the analysis you're getting from most people, but we're just kind of looking what we're seeing here. So they've selected Pith also to verify and distribute economic data on chain. Now, if you recall that Chainlink post, they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing this and these numbers and PCE. Well, let's see what they're doing for Pith because they have specifics here. It looks like it's going to be quarterly releases of the GDP going back 5 years. Now, this is saying they might do more. They anticipate expanding the initiative to support a broader range of data sets, but it looks like it might just be this one data set, according to Pith's actual post. And so to me, this is definitely much more bullish for Chainlink relative to Pith. But Pith has a smaller market cap, so a lot less liquidity, and that's why you're seeing a lot larger pump.
Yeah, Chainlink. This is definitely a huge win for Chainlink, and everybody. A lot of other people are trying to latch onto it. But it's a big win for the industry, in my opinion, because if the U.S. is doing this and other governments start coming on chain, it's really going to turn the world into a global computer and allow it to really flourish the way it's supposed to. It's going to be this next decade is going to be epic.
And back to the GDP, Chainlink's post says, well, we're also sharing GDP numbers as well. So they're doing GDP plus additional data sets. Pith only doing the one GDP data set, but still bullish for both. I'm not trying to pith on Pith here. I'm not trying to piss all over Pith.
There's space in, if you look traditionally, there's multiple oracles that end up getting used. Oracle, the traditional company, is the big winner in that space. Oracle, I would say, is the Chainlink of the traditional world. But there's 2 or 3 others. Microsoft has one. I don't know if it's Google or Amazon or whoever. Or there's a few out there that get used for Oracle data services. The same will happen on chain. You need backups. You need redundancy. You don't want to trust one data source for all the data, so it'll happen. But Chainlink is the clear winner right now, and so I'm a believer in, we're still early enough in this that you bet big on the clear winners. You don't have to, like, crypto is already somewhat of the niche play. You don't have to go into the niche of the niche of the niche. You can just buy the clear winners within your niche. Buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, buy Chainlink, buy stuff on Base, Aerodrome. You don't have to say, okay, Aerodrome's doing really well on Base. What's the second or third DEX down? Okay, I'm going to go buy this one, or what's, and people do that. I feel like too much. They go too niche, and your risk, the reward can be high, but you're taking a way more risk in something where you've already got a lot of risk and a high enough upside. Just take the easy wins. That's my 2 cents.
Phonetically spell how you say niche.
Niche.
What did you say?
I said niche, probably. A lot of people say niche. It's interchangeable.
All right, let's look at Chainlink's price action here. Now, these are lines that we identified 13 days ago. I can't recall how long ago I did my Chainlink price prediction, but you can see it's definitely paying attention to these levels. These aren't levels like I invented or anything. It's just kind of looking at some range highs, some range lows, little points of control. Look at that, bouncing against it, and then just shot up like a rocket. Now, if you're wondering what is the impact of this one, why did I draw a line up here? This is just going to be the local tops, kind of measuring from the top of the candle bodies to some of these wicks here. So this is going to be the next range I would pay attention to. But then after that, Chainlink, you got a pretty good shot to go to $30. Not a whole lot of liquidity here. You have to kind of go back to the previous cycle's action. You don't even have that January 2024 action for this area. You're going all the way back to 2021. So once it shoots above this, there's not a lot of liquidity, folks. This thing might shoot up pretty quickly.
Yeah, once it clears, is that 27-ish? What's that top?
This is right there, 27-ish, 26.75.
Yeah, once you get there, the runway's open for the fun to begin, which, again, we've been saying it's coming. And we're here. Like, 46 of the top 100 coins are outperforming Bitcoin right now. If I let me see if I can get my screen on here. I actually think that Coin Market Cap, this thing right here, this altcoin index, is pretty good. If 46 of the top 100 are outperforming Bitcoin, you tick over a little bit more and get into 50, and that's true alt season. So we're definitely in a segmented alt season, seeing Ethereum run, seeing Chainlink run. But if your bags haven't been outperforming Bitcoin recently, turn notifications on, start paying attention.
Yeah, 100%. Now, a lot of people are saying, what is the impact to XRP? Doesn't look like XRP is going to be a winner anymore. Would you agree with that assessment? Would you agree with that narrative?
A winner in what regard? In as far as getting banks and data and that sort of stuff? Like Chainlink is definitely doing way more of what Ripple claimed XRP would do. So if you're talking about that, yeah. But will it still pump a little bit? Sure. People will still buy it. There was that other clip that went super viral of those girls talking about, oh, you should, I don't know anything about crypto. What should I do? And the other girls are like, you should just buy XRP. I've got $1 million in it and it's going to $10. And it's just, it'll still pump. People will still look at it, and traditional retail still looks at this space as like, I don't know, it's all gambling, I guess. Let's just pick one and it'll probably go up. And so those people will still probably pick XRP.
All right, we got a $5 super chat. Own a small bag of 50-cent crow. Should I get it back? Should I get out if we get back there, or just keep holding to see if we get back to all-time high? I'm probably looking for whatever the fastest horse is once I'm at break-even point, if I'm holding crow. I think it is going to do well, and I think there is going to be exchange tokens that do well. And I think normies probably are going to adopt crypto.com more so than they have in the previous cycle. Not a lot of people use crypto.com. A lot of people just love using Coinbase. Maybe crypto.com starting to do the right partnerships that maybe they'll get some actual adoption here.
Yeah.
I actually have a crypto.com account. I don't think I have any assets on there.
Crypto.com, they're big in Europe. If they get some kind of government deal over there, then it could do well. But yeah, I don't know. Meh.
All right, let's get into, hold on one second. Why DZ start a crypto? That is not a big shout out to Sam. I got no problem with Sam. Definitely not copying Sam. I don't want to say anything negative about the guy. Sam isn't the first person to wear a suit, though.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. I don't think you can say he owns
wearing a suit.
No. But big shout out. I got nothing negative to say about the guy.
Pomp did it before he did. We'll just say that.
I mean, Lex Friedman is what I got the black tie. It's the Lex Friedman look. Yeah. Come on now. All right, let's listen to Tom Lee. This is a shorter clip. Here. Only going to listen to about a minute or so. Tom Lee's talking about ETH going to $12,000. Here he is speaking with Dave Attell, the comedian.
Ethereum and the S&P 500, and your logic for those two.
Yeah, I think Ethereum, in the near term, 5,500 should be happening in the next couple of weeks. But by the end of the year, I think it should be closer to 10 to 12,000 for ETH. But it's because, most of the move in crypto does come in the fourth quarter. So if you're up 35% year to date, well, if you're going to be up 200%, it's going to all happen in the next few months. And for the S&P, if the Fed follows through and begins to cut, which is our expectation, and then we get a drop in mortgage rates and the ISM turning up, and therefore financials really begin to participate, I think that's why we get to 6,800 or so on the S&P. So still a lot of upside.
What about
ETH?
ETH?
As you know, September is the month everyone's going to be worried about. So that's the month where you might get a pullback, but you need to be buying that tip.
So the seasonal weakness in September, you would say, would just be another opportunity.
Opportunity
yes,
if we
right.
dip.
And as you know, every pullback, everyone has been ringing the bell saying it's the top. That has always been a dip buying opportunity since 2022. So I just say keep that in mind, that you really should be buying a dip.
All right, he's saying buy the dip once ETH starts recovering, or if it starts losing ground to Bitcoin yet again.
Yeah, and he said 10 to 12K ETH. So I want to know from our chat. We've got one of the smarter chats out there.
The smartest chat
out there,
without a doubt.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I want to hear over or under. That's it. Over, under $10,000 ETH. Over or under.
I wouldn't say 2025. Let's just say the cycle. Let's just say the next year or so.
Yeah, like if it can extend until next year, it could be November, December, could be, whatever you think the top of the cycle is going to be. I'm becoming more and more bullish that December, or Q4 isn't going to be the end. So we're getting a lot of under, so a couple overs, mixed over, under, because he says 10 to 12K. Obviously 10K is that magic number. A lot of people under. So if you are under, what do you think it's going to be? Put that in there too afterwards. Over,
yeah, so we got under 7 to 8K. So under another 7 to 8K, 8.4K. So people are saying we're going to get pretty close, but maybe just be kind of knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Well, we'll trip on the steps on
Which
the way
is
up.
Essentially my same analysis. That's what Tisha, I saw you at Chipotle. You didn't see me. I haven't been at Chipotle in a long time. I did see somebody. It's you can kind of tell when somebody recognizes you out in public, but they don't say anything. You can kind of see them see you. That happened to me the other day. That's who I thought that was. But it's always so awkward.
Maybe it was. Hey, if you see us out in the wild, go up, say hey. I'm more than happy to just hang out and talk crypto anytime. All right, let's keep swinging back over to ETH here. ETH supply. Talking about ETH being bullish. Well, the supply on exchanges continues to reach record lows. The institutions are now hoarding their ETH. Why? To get a little bit of yield. Treasuries are stacking, and the ETFs are buying billions. Once in a lifetime supply shock is coming, and you can see very, very low rates going back years and years and years. So this is pretty good opportunity for a supply squeeze. I will say that. Now, I don't know if it's going to still be a supply squeeze when there's millions on exchanges. but not every exchange has a very, very robust ETH treasury. You know, they're going to have to start buying from other exchanges, and then you end up getting the effects of a supply squeeze there. We got a Mamo price prediction here, maybe $1. Mamo base project, pretty popular. I haven't looked at the price action in a while. Mamo, rank market cap 50 mil, 14 cents, go to all. I mean, anything's possible with something with this small of a market cap. So you're only looking at a 7x. It's going to be roughly about a $370 million market cap. Very doable.
Yeah, very doable. It fits in that AI niche. This is one of my AI
378.
picks on the base ecosystem. When that AI niche starts running, I do think this is one of the runners. So I think I have more of this than I realized. I was looking at that the other day.
Hey, there you go. That's always a good thing. Now let's back to ETH here. Goldman Sachs leading institutional ETH ETF holdings. Goldman Sachs has $721 million worth of exposure, followed by Jane Street and then Millennium. And you can see them here just kind of crushing everybody else. 288,000 ETH exposure. And this kind of leads to this narrative. ETH is very much the Wall Street token. This is according to Jan Van Eck. Jan Van Eck is the CEO of the firm Van Eck, speculated that ETH will be the clear winner amongst the blockchains as banks prepare for a flood of stablecoins. Van Eck said the banks and financial services will have to adopt a blockchain to handle the stablecoin transactions. It's very much what I call the Wall Street token. What I mean by that is if you think it's because of stablecoins, now every bank, every financial services company has to have a way of taking in stablecoins. So saying stablecoins is going to be the Trojan horse and ETH is going to be the wheels of that Trojan horse. Companies have to employ technology to enable stablecoin usage over the next 12 months. It'll take a while, but no financial services company wants to say, no, don't send me that digital dollar, Van Eck said. Now, the comments could be expected because Van Eck does offer ETH-based ETF. So maybe take those comments with a grain of salt. But over the past month, corporate treasury firms, they've acquired more than $6 billion worth of ETH, while Bitmine and CharpLink amongst the most active buyers. So we're seeing Wall Street slowly but surely, as we predicted, fall in love with Ethereum. And the staking narrative is going to be a major part of that.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems to be. I was thinking about it today with the stable coins on Bitcoin. Obviously, tons of stable coins getting issued on Ethereum, and it almost feels like Bitcoin is the chain for freedom and Ethereum is the chain for making money. You know, you've got the freedom thesis that's going on Bitcoin, self-sovereignty, self-ownership, no censorship, which Ethereum has a lot of those same properties. But if it becomes the Wall Street coin, it becomes the government chosen.
You're the chosen one.
Yeah, the chosen platform for
the Anakin,
for the suits out there. It's going to be where the money flows, and there's a lot of incentive to stay within that ecosystem.
What's your favorite era of Anakin? What's your favorite Anakin era?
Favorite Anakin era? That's a good question. So basically, you're talking all the way. I mean,
we talk about like
count?
pod racer. We talk about slaughtering the younglings.
Yeah, one,
we
two,
talking
or three.
about a little bit of a facial hair hanging out with Obi.
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess it's. I mean, if you had to pick one, maybe it's the second movie or whatever is the Clone Wars. I guess it would be.
Okay.
Before he goes full bad.
Yeah, but it's so cool. It's so cool.
It would be 2 or 3. It's definitely not one. One's kind of annoying, in my opinion.
All right. What do you think about the Kita FUD, TJ?
What do I think about the Kita FUD? Well, I don't even know what Google making their own layer one. No. Okay, so I think that's a little overblown. Google making its own layer one, killing other projects. Kita, yeah. So they've got somebody that used to be at Google that's operating it. That doesn't mean I'm not into Kita just because I thought Google was going to adopt it because of that guy. I like Kita. I run pools on Kita. Still works. It still performs the way it should. It's speculative, but I don't think the Google L1, it's going to be relevant, but I don't think it's as much of a threat to other open source decentralized things as people think it is.
All right.
That's just my 2 cents.
Now let's share a little FUD. Speaking of FUD, let's talk about ETH FUD. Okay. It's not all flowers. All right. There's a little bit of a downside tail risk that you need to worry about, and that's the exit queue. Exit queue hit another record. It is now 5 billion ETH, raising the sell pressure concerns. We're going to go and we're going to verify ourselves after reading this article. So ETH is seeing the largest validator exodus in crypto history. Over 1 million ETH tokens currently waiting to be withdrawn from staking. Now, the exodus has extended the exit waiting time to a record 18 days and 16 hours. Now, we can verify ourselves. Let's hit refresh here. It is 18 days and 16 hours. I actually checked it, dipped down to 15 hours earlier, and now it's back up to 18.6. Now, while this does not mean all of these people are looking to sell their ETH, a significant portion may be sold, though, to lock in profits, considering it is up 72% over the past 3 months there. So maybe just worry about this exit queue. Looks like only 737,000 are awaiting being staked, and the average time there is 12 days. So a little bit more people trying to pull out versus, put the inflows in. I'm not too, let's just ballpark here, TJ. What percentage of the 5 billion selling on the open market?
Percentage?
Yeah, we're looking like 50% maybe.
No, less. Yeah, I think there's I
think a lot of this is OTC deals.
I think a lot of it is treasury deals. It's so a lot of these treasuries, when you think about
that's what I mean by the OTC deals.
Yeah, they're money from whales that have been staking it forever. They need to move where it's being custody, and then it's going to just get restaked most likely. I don't think it's to dump it necessarily. It's to, if Joseph Lubin is moving all his money over to this new company, he's going to have to unstake it to do that. There's a lot of different ways you could go about that, but I think that's most of what that is, in my opinion. Or people getting ready to sell at some point, but I don't think it's OGs like Crypto Stevo selling to Tom Lee. That's what it is.
All right. And if you didn't watch last night's video, check out, because I talk about this ETH rally and I talk about what is going to pump after the fact. And that's why we bring up the altcoin domino effect. We look at different altcoins priced in ETH. So ETH is way up. What is ready to gain some percentages back against ETH? And so if you haven't watched last night's video, go check that out for sure.
All right, we have to answer this because it's a super chat, but who do you got in a boxing match, Grimace or Cookie Monster?
I mean, Cookie Monster is like a hobo on fentanyl.
Yeah,
so
I take Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster is going to win.
Yeah,
right?
He's got Monster.
He's going to be on Flocka.
Yeah, that's right. He eats out of a trash can. Oh
yeah,
no, that's Oscar. Never mind.
Oh, I am. Yeah, the Cookie Monster. I'm more concerned how many cookies can he bake?
Yeah, I don't know. I take the Cookie Monster.
He's got
Monster in his name.
I guess. Anyways, I should move on from that. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF holdings overtaking Coinbase here, Binance, but ETH may be next. I just kind of want to look at the numbers. So BlackRock's iShares ETF is on the verge of overtaking Coinbase as the world's second largest custodian. So Coinbase is number 2. BlackRock is number 3. Who's that leave for number 1? Well, all eyes. And on CZ reduces, they want to reduce Binance's dominance to a margin of just 1.1 million. Now, it's not just limited to ETH. Latest on-chain data shows IBIT's Bitcoin holdings have increased to 745,000, eclipsing Coinbase and eclipsing Binance. So BlackRock now has the largest custodial wallet of Bitcoin, and they have the 3rd largest ETH wallet here. Probably going to be number 1 there. I wouldn't bet against BlackRock. And we talked about this when they first started applying for their ETS. We looked at their odds of approval. This is 2023. We're looking at this data, 575 approvals to 1 denial. And we said, yeah, watch out. BlackRock's going to hold more Bitcoin and probably eventually more ETH than anybody. And now here we are.
Yeah.
20 months later, it's coming to fruition.
Yeah. And it was we were talking about this right before the show. It was so easy to just copy. We knew what BlackRock was going to do. Hey, they're filing for a Bitcoin ETF. They're filing for an Ethereum ETF. Every single time they get approved, and here's what happens afterwards. We presented you with all that data, and it was the easiest trade ever to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum at near lows. I mean, and just double, triple your money within a year. I mean, it was very easy. So.
Yeah, people in the chat, you funny people there. That's all right. T1, yeah, they're trying to get me to chuckle here, but be careful what you're putting down, man. We got to speak in code, everybody. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin. What's the Bitcoin code?
What did they say? I'm curious.
I can't get into it. Bitcoin code, they're acquiring more than what's being made. All right, that's essentially what's happening at the end of the day. That's why we're seeing the price go up. The price at the end of the day is supply and demand economics. What's the supply? What's the demand? That'll give you your price. Well, businesses, they're absorbing Bitcoin 4x the rate it is mined. We have about 450 Bitcoin that's mined, 450 Bitcoin are mined every day. But there are outflows from some of these ancient whales, some of the paper hands. Largely what you're seeing is ancient whale wallets waking up, selling OTC, and you got the paper-handed, they're also selling. But if you look at the inflows are much more massive. Wait a minute. I haven't seen this before. I actually didn't see this first time I looked at this graphic. They estimate 14 Bitcoin a day are lost.
Wow.
I like that. I haven't really thought about what I think the number is. I know there's some amount of people, whether it's from passing away and not telling their family how to access their Bitcoin, whether it's people just, maybe breaking a phone and didn't have good OPSEC, or breaking a laptop. 14 Bitcoin a day lost forever. I like that. I like that though. It is inflationary or disinflationary, 450 Bitcoin. But eventually, I mean, people will lose Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin will become deflationary at 21 million there. What's your main takeaway from this? What are you thinking here?
Let me see. Mostly, I mean, this is just clear buy pressure on Bitcoin. I mean, obvious buy pressure on Bitcoin relative to how much it's getting created. To me, seeing things like this, businesses are not as what's the word? Flip-floppy. Fickle as individuals in retail. So when I see things like this leads me to believe that we're going to see an extended cycle, that we're not going to just top. I think we will top out at this year and see a dramatic pullback, maybe as high as 50%, maybe not quite that much. And then everybody's going to be screaming, it's over, it's over, it's over. But I think this 2026 is going to be much different than your traditional bear market has been because of things like this. Seeing businesses buy, ETFs buy, Wall Street, governments, it's all extremely bullish. So gets me hyped up.
Pretty sure way less than 450 mined a day. Now that's all verifiable on chain, and you can go check that out yourself. You can see the blocks get solved every 10 minutes and the 3.125 that comes out every 10 minutes there.
Plus the transaction rewards. But
all right,
I guess
people going hard on Grimace, man, saying Grimace passed away, same as Morgan Spurlock from the McDonald's poison. Man, come on, RFK, you got to save us. Let's talk about Bitcoin here. This is breaking from Korea, South Korea, obviously. First Bitcoin treasury is here. BitPlanet. It's going to be the South Korea's first global Bitcoin treasury company. They're going to go ahead and start with $40 million. And I wouldn't be surprised if North Korea probably had a whole bunch of Bitcoin too. Those hackers over there, man, they love to load up. Now we're going to do a video tonight, kind of covering a lot of what Ben Cowen's been saying with this Bitcoin dominance. He has a 1-week warning. Bitcoin dominance is likely going to move higher September, October. Alts tend to find tops against Bitcoin in late August. Liquidity will flow back to the king. This is him looking at the Bitcoin dominance. But I was fascinated by this post below it. Take another look. The biggest channel has already been broken. And so this is a channel that Ben Cowen starts basically January 2024, comes down December 2024, and then it's hitting it right now. This is a little bit of a trend line. You can see it right here. But someone else pointed out a longer timeline here. This is going all the way back to 2023. I pulled it up here. We're going to reveal it shortly, imminently. Boom. They're saying, well, if you actually look at the larger channel, the breakdown has happened. This makes me feel a little bit better for altcoins. But I will say this. Typically doesn't go well when you bet against Ben Cowen.
Yeah, no, I mean he's very good data analyst, I'd say one of the best out there that in my experience. And
which way altcoins? Which way?
Well, again, this is alt BTC.
Yeah, this is Bitcoin dominance. So
yeah.
This is saying that parallel channel, the breakdown, since we have done the breakdown, we're going to basically test the length of this channel, and we're going to lose the length or the width of that channel. And so this is saying, no, the dominance has broken down and it is heading down. Ben Cowen saying, nah, we're bouncing back.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how it plays out. Traditionally, I agree with his thesis that we see another Bitcoin pump, because that's just generally how the markets run. I'm not a big TA person as much as they are, but generally speaking, based on experience, we're due for another just leg up on Bitcoin, where Bitcoin kind of like it makes its violent move from when it went around 110 to 122 very quickly. I think we could see something like that, where it goes from that maybe it crawls up to 117, 118, but once we get above that, it just blasts to like a 125 and then a 135, 140 very quickly. And that's when you're going to see it recover. When is that? Is it going to be this week, next week, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now? I lean on those guys for that. But I generally speaking do think Bitcoin is going to leg up. And this doesn't mean your altcoins are going to go down. I think that's where people get confused.
Yeah, they think the altcoins are going to lose USD.
Right.
No, they're losing Satoshis.
Yeah, they're losing against Bitcoin, not against dollars. And I think a lot of newer people don't necessarily make that connection. But yeah, when Bitcoin sees a violent move up, obviously dominance goes up and altcoins lose against it. And then when it chills and it kind of trades sideways for a little while, that's when the altcoins have their explosive recovery. So that's pretty much how it goes. Bitcoin pumps while it cools off. Ethereum and the majors pump while they cool off. The microcaps pump. That's generally how it works. So
I kind of like this assessment. Maybe we are going to retest that trend line. So kind of fusing the two predictions there.
Yeah, that seems most likely in my opinion. Yeah.
Best advice: never sell all. I don't know. I sold all my wax and I feel pretty good about that. All right, let's look at the next thing. Oh, we got major news. Major news, everybody. From Tether. Tether is coming on to Bitcoin. What the heck? This isn't some weird scam project that's like, oh, it's a bridge. No, this is real deal. Tether is now supporting the evolution of Bitcoin native stable coins, aka Tether, exploring RGB and Taproot assets. Now, not a lot of people know what RGB is. I hate the acronym, but it's essentially a Bitcoin smart contract protocol. You know what the acronym is?
Mm-mm.
It's almost embarrassing to say. Really good for Bitcoin.
That's really what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
RGB. Really good for Bitcoin. So they're going to bring USDT home because Freedom should move on to Bitcoin. So this is going to be essentially a smart contract layer that does a lot of settlement off-chain, similar to Lightning. It incorporates with Lightning Network. So it does a lot of stuff off-chain, kind of shows some proof that it's doing some off-chain stuff with these encrypted hashes. And then it brings everything on chain. And that's when you see all the Litecoin network payments being processed every 10 minutes. You'll see potentially these Tether payments being processed every 10 minutes. And so this is going to be basically tapping into Taproots. It's tapping into Bitcoin's smart contract functionalities there. And you know who's actually really instrumental in the RGB ecosystem and even having smart contracts on Bitcoin? Peter Todd.
Really? Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of this, like, I want to say it was almost 10 years ago. He was doing a lot of this stuff there.
Now, it'll be interesting. This is an interesting one to see how it plays out and see if it gathers adoption. It is, like you said, I guess kind of a layer 2 or off chain, a lot of it, but it does provide privacy. So if they can have fast settlement on Bitcoin and have a stable coin type product there, that will be really interesting to see how it affects things in the future. So.
Right. Teeter Pod. All right. RG3. I'll admit, I immediately just thought of Ruth Bader Ginsburg when I saw the RGB. I know that's RBG, RGB, pretty similar.
I went to like red, green, blue, like printer, RGB, CMYK kind of stuff.
Cyan, magenta.
Yeah. K is black. That's the tricky one.
I would have been guessing for ages there.
Yeah. K is black, Y is yellow.
Cyan and magenta made it in there, huh?
Yeah, cyan. That's printer. That's how you work. RGB is the one type. CMYK is the other type.
I guess. I don't know. What happened to purple?
You can make it with magenta.
I guess. I don't know. I credit Pokemon for teaching me about a lot of colors there. Vermilion, etc. there. Yes, we showed them. Of course, we're wearing pants here. We got to be serious here. This is 2025. This is no longer 2018 in the basement. Talking about crappy meme coins, crappy NFTs. Although TJ, I did spend over $1,000 on an NFT today.
Hey, now we're back. DZ's buying NFTs. The world is healing.
There's a whale that's dumping a fairly strong project and tanked the price a decent amount. Looks like maybe he ran out of steam. Should I share it? I'm not saying it's an endorsement. I'm not saying go buy this. I bought a Sappy Seal.
Oh yeah, okay, nice.
Kind of like a beta play to what's the other one there? The Pingus, the penguins
Pudgy?
there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Matt, watch it. You heard it here first. It was like 0.28, So we'll check back in the future. Pith ended later up, and it was some very, very good news. But Pith doesn't always have the greatest news here. So this is kind of how it started. DeFi on Aptos is booming, and it runs on Pith. And then you have powered by Pith Network Oracles, Echelon. They boast this supply. They boast this borrowing measurement. But then you'll see how it's going. So Echelon integrated Pith Oracles. And you fast forward to, this is November 7th, 2024. You fast forward to now. Lending market protocol Echelon has upgraded to CHAINLINK price feeds on Aptos. But still, good news for Pith. This is part of the reason why I'm not really sweating trying to chase a Pith pump, because I have CHAINLINK exposure, nor am I mad that I actually sold some Pith not that long ago. I just traded it just to have Solana again. Are you worried about not having Pith? Are you chasing a Pith pump?
I am not. No.
Are you pissed off about not having the pump?
No, coming back to what I said earlier in the stream, I'm heavy in Chainlink. Heavy. Like one of my biggest bags is Chainlink. And so and I think it's going to do extremely well. I'm not worried about getting into I'm not saying Pith is not going to perform. I just like to pick the clear winners within there. You know, Aave, same thing. There's plenty of other ones. I think I have a little bit of Morpho. I will go lower down on some of those, but I'm heavy Aave. Now, is there a bunch of other lending and borrow protocols within this space? Yes. Are they much lower market cap? Yes. Are they as good as Aave? Not even close. So I'd rather pick Aave's far enough down the line for me. It's in the, I don't know where it is these days, 30s, 40s, 50s. That's plenty of upside. I've got Bitcoin upside. I've got Ethereum upside. I've got Chainlink, Solana. A lot of the majors are plenty of upside for me right now because these micro caps have been getting crushed on every Bitcoin pullback. Every time we get a pullback, Pith since January, February has been absolutely decimated. Chainlink, yeah, it's pulled back a little bit since it's had those pumps, but not nearly to the same level, and it's recovered much better. So that's just basically my investment thesis at this point. If you're taking shots with some of these smaller ones, you can take, I'm sure, smaller amounts. But for me, I'm picking the clear winners within the clear niches within this ecosystem.
Yeah, we're choosing the niches for the riches. That's what we're doing.
Excuse me.
You know what's. You know what's. We're just trying to solve and come to fruition your wishes.
Yeah.
All right,
Sorry,
now
I couldn't finish my thought. That sneeze came up and just overtook my brain.
I just started freestyling, man. All right, let's talk about Pith, price, and Link here. So this is Pith gained hard against Link on the daily here. So let's kind of just look from this local bottom. Hell yeah, you've almost doubled. So if you're up 75%. Pretty good. So congrats if you're holding Pith and you jumped in on this range.
Yeah, if you bought the absolute bottom,
the absolute bottom. Well, let's zoom out. Oh, what the hell? Oh, okay. So you may be up 75%, but if you got there, you're down 86%.
Is that top?
So instead of 86% down, you're now only down 76%. So on that metric, congratulations.
Is that top January or February?
That's the Trump pump. That's the
Trump,
November 24. That's when
pump.
we started getting the signal. Who's going to be the chosen winners by the Trump family?
Interesting.
So you're still down if you sold around this rotation. This is kind of when we started full port, and Chainlink was right around the Trump administration, kind of looking at what they're buying. And if you recall, what World Liberty Fi was doing. So you're no longer down 85%. You're down 75%.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough for that's 8 months of holding just down only.
I mean, is this going to reverse in a sharpened, protracted way? I think maybe what we're seeing here is, if I had to guess, I think it's just going to be a short flash in the pan.
Yeah.
And I would just point to, what is the data Oracle? What are they providing on Chainlink versus what they're providing on Pith? It seems like Chainlink has a lot more data that they're integrating there. Maybe they didn't want to have, just like you said, they want a little redundancy. That would be my guess.
Steve-O, one of our most vocal mods here, says, you guys know I'm super bullish on Solana. Pith is my least favorite Solana project for this cycle, at least. So, yeah, that's interesting.
All right. Let's talk about Avalanche, though. Avalanche transactions are way up over the last 7 days. 74%. Is now first among all chains in weekly transaction growth. But did you see the negative on this metric there?
No, what you got?
The transactions are up 75% in the past week. Active addresses, they're actually down. And so suggesting maybe just a few wallets spammed to the network with tiny transactions, or is something being built? So this could be very negative. It could just be, maybe a little manipulation, a few wallets spammed to the network, or it could be a large enterprise grade test environment.
That's a good point. It could be somebody ready to roll something out. I know we've been messing with the arena over there on Avalanche. It's like a content streaming platform that Drew's been doing. That's been a lot of fun. And they're right there on the bubble, in my opinion. And shout out to Vo. They hired her recently, and that was I think that was a good hire by them. It is interesting to me. I feel like they only hire women, which is just interesting to me. They're not only, but it seems like most of their brand ambassadors and content creators are almost all women. So I don't know.
DEI for the win, TJ.
Well, it's obviously a strategy. It can't be an accident. So, but shout out to them for that hire. I think that's good. I think they've got some big stuff in the works as well. They were trying to get in on, I saw some mentions of them being included in the chains that this government data is going to be published on. I haven't seen it from anybody but people that work at Avalanche, so I'm not, saying for sure that that's the case, but at least they were talking about it.
It looks like no investigation into Hard or no additional charges.
Okay. Well, there should be, so I'm not going to retract it.
All right. Someone says throw a wig on me. No, man, I want to blind you guys. I want to blind you guys so you only listen to my words. I'm not trying to mesmerize you with the visuals, everybody, because what we're saying has substance, and the substance is eventually going to give you better financial freedom, because that's really the ultimate goal here, is to make good assessments and good decision making, and then look at the probabilities and just make the best choices for our finances, for our portfolio. And now it is time for me to DZ somebody in sand. You're on the list, Sand. I'm about to kick over your sand castle.
Yeah.
In fact, it already washed away into the ocean. Sandbox overhauls as co-founders confirm new strategic roles. And so Sandbox, it was a metaverse subsidiary of a Hong Kong-based Web3 firm, Animoca Brands. It's restructuring its operations with the co-founders moving into new strategic roles. Co-founder Arthur Madrid, he moved from CEO, now he's a chairman. And then we have Sebastian Bourget. He takes on the role of a global ambassador. This could go two ways. This could be an actual ambassador. You're basically doing biz dev meetings, or you're a glorified party planner. I don't know where it's going to lie on that metric. Now, as part of the restructuring, they're laying off staff. They confirmed to Cointelegraph, but they did not provide any specific numbers there. That's the team right there. Sebastian on the left, looks like G-Shock creator guy on the right. That looks like an inventor, doesn't it?
He does.
He has that inventor vibe.
It's those glasses. He's got that Dorian Nakamoto look.
He does have the Dorian Nakamoto look. I was actually, for some reason, my synapses were saying Satoshi Nakamoto, but I didn't want to say it because it felt racial.
Yeah. No, Dorian. That's the guy.
Dorian is
when people Google Satoshi Nakamoto, Dorian Nakamoto's picture comes up, and he does kind of.
I blame Google for being racist. It's Google made it a racial issue here.
Well, it was I think it was USA Today did a whole piece on. That's how all that started back in the day. They did a whole investigative journalism thing, which was pretty weak at best, and just said, "Oh, he lives nearby here, and he's got this name. Must be him," and then kind of ruined that guy's life, but. I feel bad for him. He's just like, no, it's not me. Get away from my house.
On his door and stuff.
Don't kill my family. I don't have 1 million Bitcoin.
There's some CIA agent tasked with listening to every phone call. Even he knows he's not Satoshi. He's like, I gotta listen though. All right, now this is from Bourget. The impact of AI advancements in gaming have been well documented and allows us to accelerate our deployment of content features and live ops while maintaining a leaner, more agile team. So we're going to use AI to replace our employees. That's essentially what they're saying there. Now, additionally, they're also planning to announce a meme coin launch pad on Base. This is going to be modeled after Pump.fun, and it's going to allow users to create and distribute their meme tokens. Sandbox virtual assets, including the Sand token, lands, NFTs, various assets will remain unchanged. Now, the token, though, down 70% from 2004, and this is just a great assessment. So you're telling me they raised $120 million across 6 rounds. They're valued at $1 billion. Even in 2024, not even parabolic 2021 top. They partnered with Snoop, with Adidas, with Gucci Mane, Ubisoft, even Paris Hilton. Almost 6 million registered users, over 500,000 active in the Alpha Season 4 launch, $166 million in secondary volume at the peak, and the metaverse leader, brand deals everywhere. But then later on, the game shuts down. Land floor is down to $130, user activity down massively, and the new product is a meme coin launchpad on Base. What the hell went wrong?
What went wrong is that they never had a usable product. That was the problem. They sold the hell out of it on hype, and people that got hyped up, they bought it, they were ready to build and do stuff, and nobody could use it. It was impossible to run. If you didn't have a supercomputer, basically, you couldn't run it, and they could never get it to where users could actually do anything. They had this whole world, but it was all closed. So it was just a very typical crypto company that was good at concept and hype and marketing, but couldn't deliver the actual product.
Yeah, I mean, there's a narrative that we're all going to hang out in metaverses. We're going to be wearing, this is when the VR goggles first hit the scene, and they kind of sucked and it was kind of clunky, but we're all thinking yeah, but 5 years later, the next VR goggles are just going to be awesome. Now we fast forward 5 years. The VR goggles are exactly the same. They'll make you a little dizzy, and it's probably terrible for your eyesight. And the adoption did not take off. Everybody would basically buy their nice little VR set from Meta. They would play it for a week, and then they would never touch it again. I'm in that list. When's the last time you put on some VR goggles?
It's been probably around that time you were just talking about.
The first week you got it, though, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's cool. They are cool. And I do think we are going to be more in online environments. It doesn't necessarily have to be goggles, but
we're all psyop by Ready Player One.
Well, I agree with Steve-O. There was nothing metaverse about Sandbox. It was just a open world style
Minecraft.
where you could game, build your own stuff. And we had clients. Sandstorm was a client that we helped and worked with a lot. They did a lot in there. We had stuff going on in there, but there was just unless you were an enthusiast that was trying to profit off of it, there really wasn't much as like a fun retail game player. There really wasn't much reason to hang out in there. So
yeah, the only movement you see is a tumbleweed.
Yeah. Well, no, the problem is you couldn't even load it. You literally couldn't load it in.
Trying to load.
Or if you go back and show that whole map, they would open up like a teeny tiny little square for a season and then shut it. I mean, it was the whole thing was just a mess.
I want to check in on World Liberty Fi. World Liberty Fi is starting to take off a little bit, and we're up a decent amount. So we got in at 25.7. Someone was saying the meme coin. Where is it? I had a question starred. Anyone have Trump's meme coin? Will see in tomorrow's video. I sell the Trump meme coin so I can buy a little bit of World Liberty Fi. So I go over the whole process if you want to learn how to do that. All right, let's talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA, of course, had a major stock release yesterday. Quarterly, all eyes on it. Everybody's checking it out. And guess what happened? Great news, stock plummeted. Fell over 5% after reporting record quarterly revenue of $46 billion, beat both revenue and earnings per share expectations, but the stock is still down sharply. TJ, what gives?
So I posted that. I got some interesting stuff. One, I thought it was very interesting. They also announced a massive stock buyback. So whoever, a company with a gazillion dollars is buying some stock back. They're incentivized for the price for the price to go down. Another thing, people that dig a little bit deeper, part of why their numbers were up so high is they're up on inventory. Looks like they're prepping for that China business to open back up. Other people looked into it, saw data center revenue declining or flattening. And so that could be signaling the top of this parabolic run. But at the end of the day, a lot of big money was positioned for the price to go down. So even though they smashed earnings, they beat expectations, but the price still tanks. It'll still, I think, be up in the long run. Not tanks, but it just went down on the day. But so yeah,
I guess if you look at the dollar amount wiped from the market cap, holy God, they just like lost the GDP of Yugoslavia or something. Slovenia, I know. All right, NVIDIA, that was a great assessment. I want to double click on the China narrative there. And the second quarter, everyone's talking about record revenue, everything's up, sales are surging, but the 56% pump year over year, quarterly, it's actually the slowest growth rate they've had in 2 years. And so they're, smashing the growth here with 56%. But for them, relatively weak. So that's what you're seeing there. And you said something about China. Well, they did have a pretty large victory when the Trump administration said they can sell their H20 chip. Now, H20 chip is going to be a degraded model. It is basically the 2022 infrastructure, and it's going to be a lot lower than the H100 chip and the H200 chip. And then they have a whole new class of chips that's also in production here. So the H20 chips, Trump said you could sell them to China, but the company disclosed last night it hasn't shipped a single chip, and it might not even ship a chip this quarter as we continue to work through geopolitical issues. And so the China sales were kind of priced in. Now it looks like not even going to sell any this quarter. A little bit of a tanking there.
Yeah, Jason Casper's Chicken in the chat here said, I told you guys yesterday I flew a Wall Street executive, and he told me that they had a massive short, and it turned out to be correct. So there you go. Big money was positioned short. And
I'm sure someone knew about the China narrative, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's bullish, that they made that much money without even shipping a new chip. Some people could read that as bullish, meaning they are going to be shipping that chip. So new money is still on the horizon. But I think largely it's somewhat manipulation and somewhat not as much. It's just less bullish than it had been. Somewhat of a flattening of that hockey stick type curve they've been on. So
all right, y'all ready to listen to Big Sean's crowd? It's
Oh,
not so
yeah.
much what Big Sean has to say. Let me add to the stage. Big Sean's crowd chants an altcoin. He says Bitcoin, ETH. He literally looks off camera, says someone in the backstage like, "What was that other one you mentioned?"
in the
You
crowd,
hear the crowd.
I know.
What do you? I mean, throw in your guesses. Throw in your guesses. What do you think the crowd is chanting? It's not Bitcoin. It's not ETH. It's a third coin. Let's listen. This is only 30 seconds. I snipped this part here.
This is not, you're not too late. Invest in crypto right now. Tonight if you can. Like, do that shit tonight.
Ah, damn, that's a top signal, y'all.
You're gonna get a return from it. You know, Bitcoin is a good one, Ethereum. What's the other one you said?
What was that other scam you told me about?
Ripple. Ripple.
XRP.
Invest in that shit. I'm telling y'all right now, this is a quick flip. Do it tonight. It's about to go up. You know, I think
I like
it's
that.
about to go up. It's not
I like what he says at the end. Like, I don't have any inside info.
I think it's about to go up.
XRP says by Ripple. I think he actually already released a statement saying, "Oh yeah, I said Ripple," or one of his spokespeople did like, "Oh, he thought Ripple was XRP. It's commonly known as XRP and Ripple kind of being the same thing." So, we'll give him the pass on that for sure.
And that's why I think XRP could pump. That's it. That's the whole. That's the whole thesis right there.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into the article. I mean, basically, you just summed it up right there.
Yeah, that was it.
It's got good ticker physiognomy.
Yeah.
XRP rolls off the tongue. Off the tongue. Ticker physiognomy is a real thing, you guys. It's a real thing. I'm not going to criticize. There's a stable coin. TJ, you know which one I'm talking about. But yeah, physiognomy is a real thing here. Let's see. We got a prediction here. I said earnings would disappoint, which they did. Data services, arguably the biggest growth of AI, fell short. And to be honest, with it's not a massive beat, then that's true. If it's not a massive beat, then it's kind of a short situation, because we've done videos on it in the past, me and Josh. It consistently beats and beats and beats every quarter. So if it just kind of falls in line, I thought you were going to smash my expectations. That can only last so long.
Well, yeah, and to me, the slowing of the growth of the data centers, that was really kind of what tells the story there. If they're not cranking out these data centers, then things are going to slow down. So
yes. I'm not going to go into skull shapes or anything like that, but I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Let's talk about Poly Market. Have you seen the latest person beating Kamala Harris for a potential nominee?
No,
I had to verify.
I haven't.
This one's wild, y'all. There's some normal choices. AOC, Newsom. But they also have The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock beating Kamala Harris as a 2028 presidential hopeful on Poly Market. Again, we're not going to get into the whole article. Just wanted to reference this and then go to Poly Market here. Let's see.
What's The Rock cooking?
What does he smell?
Yeah.
Smells like an island. Smells like a bunch of unreleased videotapes. Whoa. Smash that like button, everybody. Smash that like button if that made you feel something inside. We have Gavin Newsom coming in with 31%. AOC with the 11%. Pete Buttigieg. He knows 7 languages, and he's a state crafts expert here. He's coming in at 7%. Dwayne, 6%. And then Kamala coming in at 5%, all the way down there. Josh Shapiro, surprisingly low at 4%. Stephen A. Smith, I wouddn't knock that one. He's kind of would be coming in as the Democrat version of Donald Trump, a populist that has a lot of name recognition from being on the big tube box there, and the boomers are going to know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Cuban, I would say, is a dark horse favorite of mine for 2032. I think what he's doing with the healthcare industry signals he's maybe trying to do something there. And you see John Fetterman ever making it. I don't know if we are ready for a president in sweatpants.
Yeah, somebody said up here, and I
The Rock. What's wrong with you guys?
I'm more, yeah, it's
LeBron James.
It's idiocracy all over again. I mean, if that's the state of their party, you gotta admit you've made some mistakes. I would
Gavin
think.
Newsom. The bad news about Gavin Newsom, when you're leading the prediction markets this early, or when you're kind of the preeminent front runner, it never ends up being that person, like a Jeb Bush in 2016.
Right. Yeah, I mean, what about JD Vance? Would you say he's a front runner for Republican?
100% because he is the chosen favorite of the oligarchs, the technocrats, and Peter Thiel and the CIA. And it's not even his real name. He's an artifice. He's a construct. His real name is James Bowman. He later changed it to James Hamill. He's JD Vance now, and he's the based multiculturalist that is part of the New World Order.
Yeah. So I mean, I was just gonna say I think he's a front runner that might stay a front runner. I think
yeah, for sure.
As long as things end up decent, as long as the whole economy doesn't collapse on itself, then he should have that one in the bag.
Vitalik is not going to be eligible. He was born in Canada. He's a Canadian citizen there. Wait a minute. No, actually born in Russia. Correct me. I'm wrong there. Born in Russia, immigrated to Canada. TJ, was he like 4 or 5 years old? Something like that. I'm sorry. I don't have his entire biography on hand here. Take me into the rabbit hole. Oh, you stick around long. Well, wait till you check out the Friday streams. All right, let's talk about, speaking of the rabbit hole, let's talk about the Fed. Foreign central banks now hold more gold than U.S. Treasuries. This is the first time this happened since 1996.
He moved in 2000. So there you go.
He moved here in 2000?
Yeah, he moved from Russia to Canada in the year 2000.
In the year 2000.
He was 6.
Year 2000. If you think buying streak is ending for the treasuries, just look what happened in the 70s. It's likely the beginning of one of the most significant global rebalancings we experienced in recent history. Just kind of looking at the chart here, you can see off gold standard, gold holding kind of surges, dumps, surgings, dumps. And then as Reagan comes in, January 1981, it's probably going to signal probably about right here. That's when you can see he created the very pro-business environment, a pro-print policy. Man, Keynesian economics is basically communism. They're just stealing your wealth via a hidden tax called inflation by printing the money. So Reagan, DZ calling him a communist. Didn't have that on your bingo card. Let's talk about the Fed chair here. Trump has 11 people on his Fed chair list. 3 of them may be crypto friendly. Actually, 4 of them might be crypto friendly. And so he's considering 11 people to replace Jerome Powell. His term is going to expire in May of 2026. Now, Scott Bessent went on Fox News and he said there's 11 very strong candidates for Fed chair. These people all worked out with RFK in their genes. Now, I'm joking, obviously. He'll begin to vet and shortlist starting next month. So in September, one of them, BlackRock's CIO for global fixed income. Would you say BlackRock's CIO would be pro Bitcoin?
Absolutely, very
100%.
And pro ETH. I mean, they're
pro ETH,
pushing their own ETFs right now.
Now, this guy has made comments about crypto. He told Wall Street early last year, Bitcoin could be a big part of the asset allocation framework. This was after they launched their ETF, and that over time, people will be more and more comfortable with it. 2 other people, Bowman and Waller. Bowman, not related to JD Vance. We already looked into it weeks ago. Bowman is the Fed's top regulatory official, said the staff should be allowed to invest a small amount of crypto. That's why we kind of went into this when it happened a week or 2 ago, or on the 20th, rather. Like, if you can have gold earrings, you should be able to hold a little Bitcoin. It's pretty clear. It's easy to understand. Then we have Fed Governor Waller a day later.
I'm just saying, since this is such a hot topic, I think it'll be interesting. Bitcoin clearly designated as a commodity. ETH looks to be like it's going to be in that same bucket as a commodity. A lot of other things might end up getting designated as securities, and that might be the line where they say, okay, you can hold commodity, you can hold gold, wheat, whatever, Bitcoin, commodities. You can't hold securities. And I wouldn't surprise me if that's the way it pans out.
Vitalik should replace Putin. I don't know about that. He's going to have to learn some Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something. They want tough people over there. You ever see those military videos from like 10, 20 years ago? I don't know if Vitalik would make it through basic training.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you actually...
His chest would fold concavely.
Yeah, you actually literally have to fight a bear in basic training over there. That's part of the basic
holding
training.
A handle of vodka.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's part of the training.
You have to drink the handle while you fight the bear.
In Adidas tracksuit.
Yes, only.
Yeah.
And with no shirt in the snow.
Yeah, and then you have the Russian trainer from Rocky IV. He's there like crossed arms nodding, and he'll say things like "da," weird Russian. He'll exclaim out later. We also got Fed Governor Waller said just a day later on August 21st, the banking sector had nothing to be afraid of about crypto payments. Basically, it's just simply new technology. It's okay to operate outside traditional banking system. because we need to go outside the traditional banking system if we're going to have people buy our U.S. debt. And I think that's going to be probably the most important thing when it comes to hiring the person. And I said there's a fourth person. This guy Zervos. Zervos is basically one of the people from the private sector. He's the bank Jefferies chief market strategist. So we got a lot of people in the public sector. We got some people from the private sector. This other guy from the private sector, his bank did the IPO for eToro, Circle, Bullish, and another crypto-based company there. So obviously pretty pro crypto himself.
Yeah, that would be really bullish. Also, I just do want to ask a favor. On a day like today, I know a lot of you guys hold Chainlink. If you are a Chainlink holder, you should hit the like button on this stream. We've got thousands of viewers right now, only 350 likes. It really does help us a lot. If you enjoy the content that we do, if you enjoy all the work and effort we put into bringing this information to you guys first thing in the morning. We get up early, we stay up late reading the news. We get up early and read the news so we can organize this show for you guys. If you could stop what you're doing, hit the like button. If you're on your phone, sometimes you have to turn it sideways. Sometimes you have to exit the live chat to see it, but it really does make a big difference.
And I dream of electric sheep in the crypto metaverse. So that's how I spend my nights. I'm about to spend my day looking at World Liberty Fi. This token's starting to make some major moves. I was like, oh, it must be Bitcoin. Bitcoin must be moving. No, this is Bitcoin on the 1 minute, on the 5 minute, really not doing anything. So maybe some inside information being shared on.
There a lot of chat about Aerodrome. Maybe pull that chart up. Did it pull back? Somebody was saying it's a good opportunity for a long. Did it just dump hard or something?
I'd like to go to the area. Here we go. Spot crypto.
Yeah, it's pulling back. Go to the like a 4 hour for me if you don't mind.
One. Okay. So
yeah, that is a good spot for a long. Look at
yeah. I would like to, maybe just a baby entry right now. Put in a little bit more right
there
around here.
What's the bottom of that? What? Yeah. See, look at.
Basically stagger some entries down to 121, maybe 120.9.
Yeah.
So like a little bit below this, and then make sure you have a clear stop loss in case it breaks down. It's a full complete breakdown, because then we'll probably go all the way down to here, maybe even lower. Is there a head and shoulders forming? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, not really.
That's a pretty tight range. It's what I don't think it's gonna have dropped significantly below $1. But
hey, don't tease me with a good time. I'll 50x full port this thing right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, if we didn't have those green 1 minute candles, I actually probably would.
I can't stop buying Aerodrome. Can't. Every time I go to buy more alts, it's like, well, I could buy more Chainlink and Arrow, and it's it's just it's the curse that I have. I just keep buying Chainlink and Arrow and Aave.
Well, God, y'all making me want to open a position there. I'm a hold offer now. Now we had some Hong Kong officials drop out of the Bitcoin conference to avoid Eric Trump. Not gonna get the article here. Just thought this was interesting. So the Hong Kong government officials withdrawing from the conference. They don't really go into why. I think they're kind of coy. I think we all understood the reason. What do you think the reason is, TJ?
Oh, they're racist? I don't know.
I don't know. Chinese government maybe doesn't want to appear friendly. Although I know Hong Kong, not China. Beijing, not Hong Kong. Beijing has a lot of control over Hong Kong. Hong Kong, obviously passed over to the Chinese in 1997. It was passed over from the UK. The British held it. It was part of their empire of all their little colonies. And they have a official policy of two states, one policy. That's their, one state, two policies. So they say they have like different types of rules. China is increasingly controlling Hong Kong, and is probably going to be just full blown Chinese control. I think it's 2046. They have a lot of these amendments going. They just keep cracking down on their elections and stuff. They basically give them a puppet government, and then that puppet government just keeps creating more and more pro-China policies there. Mm-hmm. So why do you think China doesn't want to appear cozy with the Trump family?
Because they don't like China and U.S. have been in a trade war for a very long time. Trump's U.S., they're China. We're winning. They don't like it.
They don't like it. There's going to be so much winning. You're going to be tired of winning so much. And the best way to show that we're winning, smash that like button, everybody. We did have a pretty massive treasury auction just happen. We sold $70 billion worth of the 5-year treasuries. Guess what happened? The foreign buyers pulled back, but the U.S. buyers stepped up in record size. And this isn't including the banks. They do have a breakdown of who ended up buying there. Here we go. Foreign accounts, 60%, which is typically higher. If you kind of look, is kind of close to 80, maybe 77% there, now down to the 60s. Domestic institutions bought a record 30.7%. Now, these domestic institutions, I would be interested to know what percentage of this 30% is stable coins, is short-term treasuries, or, you know, maybe the trickling of the short-term, the 3 months, the 12 months into the 5 years. Do you think stable coins is kind of semi-responsible for this 30%?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I wish I had it. I just closed it. The centrifuge stuff, we touched on it yesterday. Here it is. Give me just a second to pull this up. And this here, we've got Horizon RWA. We talked about it a little bit yesterday with Aave. That's one of Aave's products, and centrifuge at launch. For the first time, Aave users can borrow stable coins against U.S. Treasuries, AAA rated CLOs. So it's like we're starting to see this ecosystem be created and wake up, and things like that will lead towards things like this, where now treasury companies, all sorts of different people that hold treasuries, will be able to tokenize those treasuries and then take loans against them. This is the future. The treasury market, the bond market, the fixed income market. This is what's going to drive the next leg up for this industry. This is what's going to take it for the total market cap sitting, what is it, around almost $4 trillion right now. That treasuries is what's going to take it from 4 trillion to over, to 20 trillion. And we're going to see that over the next 5 to 10 years. We're going to see this tiny little market that we're in, a $4 trillion market. It's going to go well over $20 trillion in the not too distant future. And it's things like what we're just seeing with these treasuries auctions. That's why I'm so bullish on Chainlink and Aave, because they're providing the infrastructure required for securities to be on chain, for treasuries to be on chain, for money to be on chain. And that shift, that change over, the updating of the system, as the Coinbase ads say, that is what you're betting on. That's why you're here. And if you can stay in this for the next 10 years and be patient, you're going to be set for life.
All right, I want to check in on Pith real quickly. We are printing some bear divs on the 7-minute. Is it rolling? It's rolling into the 10-minute. And, you could make an argument it's rolling into the 20. Be careful shorting this, though. This could, too many people start piling in on the shorts. That's going to create buy pressure, and it's just going to keep doing this. So it's going to keep doing this till the shorts run out of steam, finally get exhausted. I'd be leaning towards longing this rather than shorting this today, because I think everybody's going to want to short this.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my assessment there. All right, well, folks, that is our show for today. Like I said, we're going to break down what Ben Cowan's saying about Bitcoin. What do the levels look like? What is alts? How are alts going to react? What's the Bitcoin dominance going to move if Bitcoin goes up, if Bitcoin goes down? I know a lot of you waiting for another Josh video, so that's going to be going out. And then the day after, we're going to be doing the World Liberty Fi. But I'm actually going to be on Mario's Space in 17 minutes.
All right.
TJ, so I'm going to go do that. Maybe try to get a little bite in between. But folks, that's our show. Hit that like button on the way out. And especially if you're a Link holder, if you're a Pith holder, we're all celebrating today. But it's about the next move. We're going to be celebrating day after day after day after day. I'll see you tomorrow.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.